afternoon for the FCE Insurance British Superbike Championship here at Knockhill in the Kingdom of Fife and St Andrews. The Skywalker, whose father was an eminent European Championship 500cc racer back in the 1980s, even wild-carded at 500 Grand Prix, including the Donington Park 1989 500 GP. That, of course, was way before his son was born in 1992, but it did mean that Luke Mossey was on a motorcycle by the time he was 4 years old, and he's certainly proven to be one of the most relaxed and talented men out there. He trails by 3 points his absent teammate Leon Haslam in the championship. Christian Hidden also absent, third in the championship. Fourth for Josh Brooks. Fifth for the third absentee, unfortunately, Glenn Irwin. And then sixth place for Honda's Jason O'Halloran. I remember there was some misfortune in those accidents. It was a snapped handlebar. As we look at that, looking out across the famous Forth Railway Bridge, and there on the right-hand side, the brand new Forth Road Bridge, which will be opening sometime this year. But Glenn Irwin undone by a broken handlebar, which produced a frightening moment on the way into Clark's and injured the Irishman. Luke Mossey on pole position. Jake Dixon, what a ride by him. Second place. Third place for the experienced James Ellison. Row 2 features the defending champion Shaky Byrne, Jason O'Halloran's Honda, and Josh Brooks on the Anvil Hire Tag Racing Yamaha. Incidentally, he was black flagged during the course of practice this morning. Sylvain Guintoli, now with Ray Stringer as his crew chief at Bennett Suzuki, is 7th ahead of Jakob Smerts, who's loving being with the PR Racing team, and Taylor McKenzie. And row 4 is headed by Dan Linford on the second Honda, ahead of Billy McConnell and GT superstar Peter Hickman. A huge crowd here enjoying the weather that I always expect when I come to Knockhill, because it was so beautiful the very first time I ever did come, which actually was the year that Luke Mossey was born, rather terrifyingly. So the field lines up. 20 riders on the grid and 30 laps ahead of them.
Going off toward the edge of the race.
Remember, this is a big launch downhill, a fairly scary start, James Hayden, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and it's a critical start. It's quite hard to pass, so as they get going, lights are on.
Luke Mossey gets a good one. So too does the man in second place, who I think gets the better of him downhill. It's Jake Dixon leading a British Superbike race for the first time. Mossey in second. Oh, Ellison Edwards, Shaky Byrne got squeezed out and took to the green paint. And Josh Brooks takes advantage and tries to dive through on the black and yellow Yamaha. And Dan Linford has got a scorching start and has launched his Honda through right behind Jason O'Halloran. And they're running 4th and 5th behind Jake Dixon, Luke Mossey and James Ellison. Taylor McKenzie and Sylvain Guintoli.
Oh, massive moment there from Luke Mossey. Just a bit of a cold tie on the right-hand side and just snapped round and had feet off the pegs and everything there as we come into the hairpin for the first time. So it's Dixon, Ellison, Mossey. Then you've got it's still O'Halloran.
Yes, it's O'Halloran there and Linfoot, and then Josh Brooks, then Shaky Byrne, then the two Bennett Suzukis of Taylor McKenzie and Sylvain Guintoli as they drop downhill, a plummet downhill in that terrifying turn. I mean, to a mere mortal like me, it's a hair-raising piece of fairground equipment there. And look at the way that Jake Dixon is stretching it at the front.
That's incredible from the youngster there, and just a brilliant start. I was just going to say, on that first corner there, O'Halloran just got stood up a bit. It really messed Shaky up. Shaky was pushed wide and out onto the curb, and that cost Shaky quite a lot of time. And the one thing that we say about this track, it is quite hard to pass on. This is the best spot, and you can see Mossey's just going to creep up the eye of Ellison. It's a nice move. Got to watch the fun there, and so Mossey just slips up to second, and yeah, he's going to hold that position.
So storming uphill then, Mossey into second place, Ellison third, O'Halloran challenging on the Honda to try and get inside the Cumbrian, and he does so as they drop into turn. Oh, O'Halloran bounces the curb, the Honda deals with it, and he's now, the black filling is Ellison in the red and blue. black Honda Sandwich, but number 27, would you believe, Jay Dixon, now resident in Ashby de la Zeus, near the Mackenzies, on the Royal Air Force regular and reserve Kawasaki leads the way. This was the start, James.
Yeah, this is start now. Little watch the man on the inside, number 22, Jason Allen, the red helmet. It just comes in a little hot, and here nearly clips the back of Ellison, and you see it just really kind of cocks up Shaky Byrne a little bit, and he gets beaten up by a couple of riders.
And also Linfoot took the opportunity to dive through on the inside. That was how he came to make so much ground early on. So fascinating start as jumbled things up. Taylor Mackenzie, a man who's done more laps around here than I've had on dinners in my life, has moved through on bike number 6. Taylor Mackenzie looking strong.
Yeah, he's
in 6th.
Not quite sure what happened to Gintoli on that lap, but Gintoli got knocked back about 3 spots, so
to 9th. Yeah, he's behind Shaky now. In fact, there's a big gap there, look, has opened up. So Gintoli somehow got pummeled about, and he's back just in front of Bradley Ray in 10th place.
And look at O'Halloran as well. O'Halloran's moved up to 3rd on the Honda. He's got ahead of James Ellison. Behind him is Linfoot, and then, as you say, Mackenzie doing a great job there in 6th spot on the Suzuki.
The Hondas did well around here last year. Remember, Linfoot had a 2nd and a 3rd, as we see the McCann's Yamaha edge underneath the Australian Jason O'Halloran. And as they storm up the hill, it's Dixon ahead of Mossy. The young guns lead the way. The experienced James Ellison in 3rd.
And look at that, we've got 6 different manufacturers in the top 7. I mean, great stuff around here. It's just incredible, isn't it?
That is absolutely marvellous, isn't it? So yeah, right now we've got the Kawasaki's 1 and 2, Yamaha's next up, 2 Hondas, followed by Suzuki. Look at that train of riders, all of them extremely accomplished. I tell you, this is such strength in depth here. Right back to the 15th place man, Tommy Bridewell on the WD-40 Kawasaki.
Now, Luke Mossy, though, he just, Dixon had that bit of a lead, and Mossy set a fast lap of the race in the last lap, 48.5, and he's just, and
Hickman goes through, slips past Quintily, so Hickman picks up a place.
Just have a little look at that. So both the leaders, 48.8 for them. In fact, the top 3 all 48.8 on that last lap. So, but you can just see Mossy's just edged away a fraction from Ellison in 3rd, trying to hunt down Jake Dixon.
Oh, someone's down!
That's Ellison. James Ellison again.
Ellison just furious with himself.
Looks like he really had the. Again, he looks like he had the pace here. So it's frustrating. He was up to 3rd. Let's have a little, keeping an eye on the left-hand side of your picture, and you're going to see him just, God, that was late. That was a very, normally by then you kind of, because he just picked up the fall. Linfoot just going ahead of O'Halloran there, so.
Oh, and Linfoot goes down. Linfoot losing the front, going into the hairpin, and he'd let the bike come to him. He was looking comfortable. He was moving through into what would have been 3rd place. A frustrated Dan Linfoot stalks off, and it leaves his teammate O'Halloran in 3rd.
Yeah, we'll have a little look at the inside. Number 4, Dan Linfoot. He's quite tight, so he's just going to be, we know he's going to be loading that front. It's bumpy, it's a change of tarmac, and boom, just on that little bit, just you're about to pick up the throttle just before, it just tucks the front, and we've seen that over and over again every year here. You know, it's easy to do, unfortunately. But look at these top 2, that's also giving them a little bit of breathing space now. Yellow flags out there on the left-hand side. That is because of Dan Linfoot.
So that means that these guys, of course, aren't allowed to overtake. You must not overtake under a yellow flag. You get penalised if you do. So these young men, 24-year-old chasing 21-year-old, and then it's the experienced O'Halloran, Shaky Byrne, fighting now with Taylor Mackenzie on the blue Suzuki. Dixon, Mossy, O'Halloran, Byrne, Mackenzie, Josh Brooks in 6th place. 7th now for Hickman, ahead of Bradley Ray, who's got the better of Billy McConnell and Sir Van Gintoli. So Brad Ray having a storming ride as well. So the young guns really making their presence felt in the top 10 here at Knockhill. And how? 2 of them at the front. And then the two experienced men running 3rd and 4th, and then yet another youngster, Taylor Mackenzie, the reigning national Superstock foul champion, in 6th place. Beg your pardon, 5th place. Josh Brooks, former champion, in 6th. And behind him, the blue bike is Peter Hickman, really beginning to get the McCann's Yamaha camp understandably dismayed at the loss of their lead rider. Michael Laverty back in 12th place, just ahead of Bridewell and behind John Hopkins. This is the race leader. How smooth does Jake Dixon look?
Do you know what I was about to say? Doesn't he look good? He's smooth, he's fast, he's aggressive, and he was 0.2 of a second quick on that last lap than Luke Mossey. So 48.7 for your leader Dixon, 48.9 for Mossey. So really good stuff there from Jake Dixon. He's found a good rhythm. He was fast in qualifying and doing a good job. See the bike wiggling a little bit over there. He's got to be careful at this point. You know, not quite 2/3, not quite a third distance. So you just got to be a bit careful not to, just leave a bit of your tyre.
Number 22, Jason O'Halloran, is just ahead of number 67, Shane Byrne, as they storm across the line. O'Halloran, experienced Australian, 29 years old now, with Shaky Byrne, of course, massively experienced Londoner and 5-time champion, running there in 4th place, knowing that podium credits are where you want to be. That's exactly what Luke Mossey was telling me this morning. Yes, it's great to get the race wins. I want more of them. I said to him, well, yeah, but as your team boss Jack Matthews says, Jack Valentine says, if you keep finishing top 6, you'll end up in the top 6. So, and obviously podium credits are the plus point to that.
No, sure, very much so. And here we can see O'Halloran coming under a bit of pressure now from Shane Byrne. Shaky on the move. He's done a lot of changes this weekend. Not been happy with that Panigale. And, you know, according to the team, they've literally done everything but resurface the track. So,
when there's that much air under a rear tyre as O'Halloran had there when he was hard on the brakes, isn't that diminishing your braking effort into the hairpin? Or is it, I mean, are you always going to get so much more brake effect from the front?
Yeah, you're so much more from the front. You know, all the weight is generally on the front. You do get a little fraction, and there's a bit about the balance as well. The bike not rotating too much on the headstock, but to be honest, you know, you only need to watch Marquez to know that you can get away with one wheel on the ground.
Josh Brooks coming under threat now from Peter Hickman. Both these guys having to completely recalibrate their racing brains after a fortnight on the Isle of Man, competing successfully in the TT. And as Peter Hickman pointed out, you couldn't come back to a more rushed and frenzied racetrack than coming back from the Isle of Man to Knockhill. On the 12th lap of 30 then, with Jake Dixon leading the way. Fastest lap of the race is a 48.57, about 3/10 off the lap record set by second place Luke Mossey. But on the last lap, the 48.58 was the fastest lap so far for Jake Dixon, so he's looking really comfortable at the front.
He is. I mean, there's quite a difference. Yeah, when he goes to the front tyres that are coming through, most of the guys are on the soft tyre, with the exception of 4 riders. That's Mackenzie, Mossey, O'Halloran and Gintoli. They're all on the hard front, but the rest of the field's all on the soft. Whether or not they're just saw the diminished adhesion flag coming out there as well. So I'm gonna have a little look at whether there's an incident when someone's dropped something on this little patch. There you can see it on the inside there, maybe a little few scratches or something.
Sean Winfield's pulled in. He made a complete mess of his motorcycle yesterday morning and therefore didn't get to compete in qualifying. I don't know whether that's the source of the problem. Oh, and Billy McConnell's in trouble as well. Billy McConnell. What a shame for Skippy on the Quattro Plant FS3 racing Kawasaki.
Yeah, that's a shame because he's been having a good weekend so far. Looks like they're going good, but look at the job Jake Dixon is doing. He's been, what's he got? He's got 0.8 of a second. He was a 10th quicker on that last lap. And Mossey, who's looked so strong all weekend, is just unable to quite match him at this point. And also looking behind O'Halloran and Byrne, Mackenzie, number 6 there on the Suzuki, has just been pegging away, and he's nearly on the back of them. It's a great ride for Mackenzie.
Well, Taylor's had that.
Oh, Brooks!
It's Brooks down. Josh Brooks has gone down. That is the surviving, or was the surviving, black and yellow bike. And Josh Brooks has made a bit of a mess. Is that at the hairpin?
Yep.
Oh, Brooks telling himself off there. He was under pressure from Hickman.
I mean, it's just have a look at the left-hand side. So again, it's that same point. It's where
he went in. He went very early.
Well, he did. I mean, it's just so much going through the front tyre. Then, as I say, it's bumpy, it's awkward. He's maybe running a little bit hot and just trying to still keep it on line, but not run wide. Hard to say from there.
So the diminished adhesion flags are out. These three guys have to hold position as they drop into the hairpin. Shaky, very tempted to have a look underneath Jason there, but isn't allowed to pass at that moment. I was going to say, Taylor Mackenzie in blue there, he's had that operation on his forearms to relieve arm pump that he's been suffering from, and he said he didn't realise how much it was hindering him and how much more relaxed he can be on the bike this weekend. No, and it's working.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's great that it is working, because arm pump is a killer on these and very easy to get. You know, just really doing so much with your hands, your brakes, your clutch, you accelerate, you're holding on, they want to twist and buck and weave, and you know, that's why you've got to be so fit and so strong to muscle these around for race distance.
29-year-old Jason O'Halloran, it's 10 years since he won the Australian Super Sport Championship back in 2007. And it was when he came over in 2009, a couple of years later, to the UK. That's why we feel like he's been around for such a long time as a UK man, because he has, of course, been resident up in Lincolnshire for a long while. Dates James Westmoreland's sister, and they're very much a part of the British scene and having a really strong ride. The Honda's looking very settled and he's looking comfortable.
Absolutely. Remember, this is the new Far Blade this year, and it's struggled in World Championships, struggled in most championships, and it's been struggling all over the world, TT, Northwest, but these guys really getting that bike working well now for him. Podium last time out at Alden Park, and you know, as we look at the team watching on, and you know, he's been doing a really good job at Halloran as well. He's developing it, he's a smooth, he's a fast knee rider, and it's nice to see, although he's under pressure here from Shaky up the inside.
Shaky Byrne just squeezes through, so one red bike overtakes another. Ducati Panigale passes Honda Fireblade. Right behind them, the GSX 1000 Suzuki of number 6 Taylor Mackenzie. Probably inspired by the fact that his dad won the Anglo-Scottish Pro-Am race on the Yamahas a little earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Which brought a lot of iconic old names out onto the track here at Knockhill, and Scotland appropriately won, beating the English, captained by Alan Carter. So Dixon leading at the moment by 1.3 seconds, and from Luke Mossey, and then this crew, and Mossey has about 4.7 seconds. The two lads at the front could be said to be secure, James.
They are, but it's a long way to go, guys. Yeah. So that's why we've got the diminished adhesion. It's actually someone's hit a bird there and squashed it onto the track. So you don't see that every day.
And as Peter Hickman comes round the hairpin, he's got Bradley Ray for company. Bradley Ray having a stonking ride. Incidentally, the man at the front, Jake Dixon, he's finished second 2 years ago here in British Super Sport. And I always get the feeling that there's a thread runs through a man's career. I mean, that there are some tracks that he likes, that he gets on well with, and Jake obviously likes this place.
He does indeed, and he was great here on his debut, but look at that, he's got 1.5 seconds now on Mossey. Mossey's last lap was 0.3 of a second slower. These last few laps, Dixon has just been taking a 10th or 2, and we thought he'd have a good ride. He's been brilliant here all weekend, and yeah, he's still got distance to do. Mossey just missed the apex there, but no one, to be honest, expected this. Not after the form that Mossey's had all weekend, fastest in pretty much every session. At the same time, Mossey's got to think of the championship. Dixon isn't a threat for that, and you know, with some of his main rivals out, it's an ideal time for Mossey just to keep backing up those points and podium credits.
Shaky Byrne in third place, looking for a podium credit. Right behind him, the 29-year-old from Wollongong in New South Wales, 50 miles south of Sydney. And let's check out the fastest lap so far, because they will decide the starting positions for race 2, and it would be Mossey, Dixon, Ellison once again on the front row of the grid. Linfoot, Byrne and Brooks, 2 of those men, of course, already out of the race, but with advantageous starting positions for race 2. That must be a sign of little consolation, James.
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to say, sort of behind this little battle, there's the lead. Let's have a little look as they go across. 48.6 for Dixon, 48.8.
Bradley Ray, 6th.
I was going to say, Ray's come through to 6th. He's got ahead of Hickman, Gintoli. Hopkins as well has come through well to 9th. So those guys going well, and Brino top 10. Jackson.
Lee Jackson having one of his better rides for the Smiths BMW team. So some cracking rides going on here. Jackson had a Bridewell, Laverty, Jakob Smertz, James Westmoreland as they dive through the dip there. There's Lee Bob Jackson going through, and then just outside that top 10, there's Tommy Bridewell ahead of Michael Laverty in the bright blue P&R racing bike of Jakob Smerts, who's, and there's talking of blue bikes, here's Taylor Mackenzie still shadowing the guys in third and fourth. Storming the hill. By the way, the Ducati, I don't know whether you can hear it at home over the television sound, but what a noise it makes coming up there. Fabulous racket. Look at Bradley Ray. Look at Brad Ray there, riding Stuart Higgins' build-base Suzuki. Behind these three, sixth place for the tousle-haired 19-year-old. What a ride by him. Talk about duck to water in terms of riding a 1000cc motorcycle, jumping off after a quick season in super sport, and before that on the 125s and 250s.
He's doing a brilliant job.
Oh, no! Bradley, what are you doing to me? Commentators curse, strikes with blistering heat, and he crashes out at Clark's, a corner that's caught several people out this weekend. Oh, what a shame.
Just look at his front, he's just a fraction wider, and he just caught those little bumps, has unsettled the front, and unlucky, just terrible when we're speaking about some of his commentators, and that happens. It's, you know, but what a future. The main thing about this chap is what a bright future he's got. He's got loads of natural talent. He's moved up to superbikes, and already he's adapting brilliantly, and he's going to have a bright career ahead of him. But gutting for him there when he had a good sixth spot.
I'm not talking anymore. I've gone into temporary retirement. Right, anyway, Dixon with a 2.469 advantage at the moment over Luke Mossey. So Halloran keeps the pressure on the Ducati. Taylor runs wide.
Yeah, big mistake there for Mackenzie. Just trying to pinch a bit on the brakes, and obviously went in a little bit hard because those guys are pretty sharp. But Dixon, that 2.9 seconds now as he crosses the line. The only man who's still circulating in the 48s. And the 48.6 on his last lap. The fastest lap of the race is at 48.5. So, you know, he doesn't need to go, and he can double this lead. That's a 3-second lead, that's a 6-second lead, a more normal length circuit. So at the end of the day, Dixon just doing such a phenomenal job there, and the RAF reserves, BMW, the RAF reserves, Kawasaki working brilliantly. They must be over the moon, and he's just got to look at his board now and just control that gap. Mossy settled for second, and what a ride from the youngster. Fantastic, and look how good he looks on it.
So Lee Hardy's team, God, they'll be bound. There is Lee Hardy in his Royal Air Force shirt, very calmly. He's just giving him a little clap and a thumbs up. And of course, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be the first time the team had won. Peter Hickman, I think, has won for them before. And in British Superbikes, as we see Michael Laverty dive underneath Tommy Bridewell. Right behind them is the veteran man, from the rider from the Czech Republic, Jakob Smerts. Good battle going on here for 10th place.
Yeah, the guys there, Laverty's got the better for them at the moment, just ahead of, as you say, of Bridewell. Laverty wanting to just, yeah, obviously he's had that nasty sort of injury, that nasty sort of cut, but, which has obviously been a real problem for him. But, you know, he's going to want to, he's not going to be happy with riding around on the edge of the top 10, you know, and more. What is he? He's 20 seconds back, so you can normally say it's probably about 40 seconds.
At the moment, of course, Michael Laverty looking to pull some points back on Dan Linfoot and John Hopkins ahead of him in the table. Hopkins is there in 7th place, so he's having a good ride on the Moto Rapido Ducati, despite having banged his hand up yesterday morning. Hopkins goes across the line 7th, 8th for Gwinterly, 9th place for Lee Jackson, and then this battle for 10th. Footwear's pawing the air as Laverty, Bridewell and Smerts go sweeping past the pit lane. There's Sylvain Guintoli, now under pressure from Lee Bob Jackson. So Jackson, the young man from Lincolnshire, really pressing the former world superbike champion here in a battle for 8th place.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvain Guintoli, we know what a class, you know, as you say, ex-superbike champ. We know he's not quite happy with the bike yet. He's not quite settled. First time in this track, mind you, but we know what a quality rider he is, and certainly when we see him get happy with his bike and his riding in the tracks here, we know he'll be winning races.
And now, of course, he's got Ray Stringer, something of a legendary engine tuner and crew chief, working in his garage at Bennett Suzuki. So Guintoli then fighting to hold on to that 8th place out of Lee Jackson. Onto the 26th lap of 30, so in towards the closing stages of this race as the Leicester-based Frenchman holds off the plumber from Lincoln in that bright orange helmet. And this is as good as I've seen Lee Jackson get to grips with the Smiths BMW. Strong ride.
Yeah, it is a strong ride, and Dixon, just so you know, is still circulated in the 48s. He's got a 3.2 second lead and another 48, so every one of his laps has been in the 48, and that sort of consistency, that speed is superb from the youngster. With just 3 laps to go, and you know, he can back it off a little bit now. He's got a, you know, once you think you've got 3 laps and you've got a second in hand on each lap, but he's riding brilliant. He doesn't want to lose his focus, and this is the last battle for the podium. It's Shane Byrne on Nitz Catty versus Jason O'Halloran on the Honda, and who's going to have it? The best pace of passing is definitely at the final hairpin, and that's where we've seen him pass. Oh, look at O'Halloran there as well. Just had it backing in there. Beautiful bit of riding. I wonder if he's going to have a little look on this lap, because certainly you can see his eagerness. He's just his bike was too busy, didn't take the bumps quite as he needed to, and he won't be able to do it on this lap. So, and I bet that Ducati's probably got a fraction more punch coming out there too.
That was a mini version of what happened to Chrissy Rouse when he was challenging Danny Buchan in the Superstock foul race, and it had an immense moment coming across those rollers there through Izzy's. So he's got to regroup again on the 28th lap of 30. The laps peel past very, very quickly at Knockhill. Actually, the laps must feel as if they go past quickly, because you're so busy and frantic around this track, James.
Yeah, you don't get any chance, even what you think like a straight here. You've probably got a second, maybe 1.2 seconds before you're back on the brakes again. And then when you come down the start-finish straight, you're coming out the corner, you're getting over the rise. You know, you've got to be fit. It is a very, very busy circuit, but yeah, really exciting circuit to ride as well. O'Halloran again, you see, you could see it just juddering a little bit on the brakes there, and it kind of just went a little bit as we started the penultimate lap. Also, it's the difference between finishing 3rd and 4th, being on that podium or not is immense, and O'Halloran's going to be desperate to do it, and obviously his podium credits as well, so it's so important for that last podium spot there. Shane Byrne doing what he's done for year in, year out, and he's not had the best of weekends, but even though he's worked his way up, he's in a podium position, and he's going to be hard to beat for that 3rd spot.
Jake Dixon so in control. He's slipped back to a 49.2. He's still got a 3-second advantage over second place Luke Mossey, and he's looking as cool and in command as you could expect any 21-year-old to be. Yeah. So Jake Dixon never been close to a British Superbike win before, because of course he's a newcomer to BSB, finished 16th last year in British Superbikes, and here he is now looking to register his first victory, and looking very smooth. 49.15 on that lap.
Yeah, and Jake Dixon, what a job. He could jump on a Superbike. You know, look, last year he got injured and didn't have a full year. He's come back this year. They've given him a good bike. He's learned well, he listens, he's a good lad. Obviously Shane Byrne's taken him under his wing a bit as well, and he really is.
And he does a lot of training with James Ellison, who's something of a fitness fanatic. He now lives in the Midlands near Ellison. Yeah, let's put this into perspective. His best result before this was Donington Park, the opening race of the season. He finished 7th. And now, would you believe, it's back in 2012 he first appeared in the National Superstock 600 Championship, won 3 times, finished 4th, and now he's winning in British Superbikes. Jake Dixon wins it amazingly for the Royal Air Force regular and reserve Kawasaki team. Lee Hardy is overjoyed. He may not be showing it, and Luke Mossey sportingly congratulates the race winner. He too has got himself precious podium points and a good haul, and takes the lead in the championship. But for these guys, that's some result. Jake Dixon to take a punt on such a young fella, and I think Jake's in tears, bless him. I
think he is, but well-deserved tears he is, and bless him, he rode so well. He does a fantastic victory. He was dominant. He looked brilliant on the bike, and I'm just so pleased for him as well. He really deserves that, and there's nothing you will never ever forget. Your first win in British Superbikes as well. Brilliant, brilliant stuff for the youngster.
When was yours, James? Can you remember?
I can remember, yes. Snetterton, 94.
And how did you feel? Did you burst into tears?
I didn't know. I was too busy filming movies.
Lee Hardy there, the big smiling face in the middle of that picture, getting congratulated by all and sundry. That's what a result for his team.
Also, you forget as well, Glenn Richards obviously helping out in there and being part of that. That's a massive thing. I'd momentarily forgotten that Glenn's been in there helping, and I'm sure, you know, he's such a wise, clever rider, and he's been offering some really sound, sage advice, I'm sure, really helping them get it together. So it's just another nice little addition for this team, and bless Jake, fantastic.
Richards, of course, Glenn Richards, a former 1000cc Superstock and Super Sport 600cc champion, and he bringing him a huge amount of Australian wisdom and expertise to this team. And there is Jake Dixon having a huge Pirelli destroying burnout in front of the packed grandstand at one of the favourite viewing points here at Knockhill, right on the exit to the hairpin, and then a majestic wheelie back down pit lane for the 21-year-old from originally, of course, from Dover down on the south coast, whose dad was a champion. Darren Dixon was a champion in both on both 2 wheels and 3, and everybody applauding him down pit lane there. Really popular victory for 21-year-old Jake Dixie Dixon. Dixon, who, look at this, isn't that wonderful? See, there's his dad on the left giving him a big hug. Danny Buchan, a close friend there, who's just won the Superstock 1000 race, also getting in on the act. Glenn Richards there on the right with the cool dude shades on. And everybody very, very happy with that ride indeed. And Dixon just composing himself. I don't think he needs to, Jake. You just weep as much as you want, lad. You won't get this happen to you again. And then his girlfriend gives him a big hug as well. I mentioned just a few minutes ago, 2012 was when we first saw him on the national stage in the National Superstock 600 Championship. He did have wins at Brands Indy, Brands GP and Silverstone, finished 4th overall in the championship, and then went straight into Super Sport, but a broken scaphoid rather terminated his season then, and although he did have a pole position at Brands Hatch, at his beloved Brands Hatch. Now this will be his beloved Knockhill. He's taken his first victory for the RAF regular and reserve Kawasaki squad. Jake Dixon dominates pretty much from beginning to end after snatching the lead going into turn 1 from Luke Mossey. Mossey takes the lead in the championship for JG Speedfit from his teammate Leon Haslam. Shane Byrne improves his standing no end with the 3rd place for the BY's Ducati team ahead of Jason O'Halloran's Honda. Taylor McKenzie has a bright race for Bennett Suzuki ahead of Peter Hickman, who elbowed his way through on the Smith Racing BMW. John Hopkins on the Motor Rapido Ducati, and then Sylvain Gintoli on the 2nd Bennett Suzuki just leads Lee Jackson, a revitalised Jackson on the Smith Racing BMW. Michael Laverty 10th for McCann's Yamaha. 11th place for Tommy Bridewell and WD-40 Kawasaki ahead of Kuba Smertz on the Lloyd and Jones PR Racing BMW. James Westmoreland get points for Geerling Kawasaki, and so too points for Aaron Zanotti. Bradley Ray might get a point for, despite the fact that he fell when he was riding brilliantly in 6th place on the Bill-based Suzuki. So the championship standings take a slightly intriguing look here. Luke Mossey moves into the lead by 17 points over Haslam. Idden remains 3rd. Remember, both he and Haslam unable to race today. Shane Byrne moves joint 4th with Jason O'Halloran. That's how important that fight for 3rd place was. Peter Hickman is now joint 6th with Josh Brooks after Brooks fell at the hairpin. Glenn Irwin has dropped out of the top 6. Jake Dixon moves into the top 9 ahead of Tommy Bridewell. 11th for James Ellison, level with John Hopkins. Dan Linfoot 1 point behind them, and Sylvain Gintoli in 14th place ahead of Michael.